Episode. We finally got more than 10 episodes under our belt. Ben and I thought that we would do something that we haven't done before, which is take you behind the scenes and actually break down step by step our entire Wealthy PT fast lane method and how we're not only scaling Ben's practice, where we took it from $200,000 a year to now doing nearly $2 million a year projected. What are you projected hit this year, Ben?
We should be close to 2.3. Could potentially hit 2.5, but at a minimum, we'll be at 2.2. So.
Right, but we're not just talking about Ben's practice here. Dozens and dozens and dozens of our practices that we work with are hitting their first $30,000 to $50,000 to $80,000 months within their practices within 12 months of implementing the system that we are about to walk you through. So today, we're going to actually take you step by step through the 3 phases of rapidly scaling a cash practice: your acquisition, your client experience, and the model that you're taking them through. Okay. And so we're going to break that stuff down, kind of demystify what it really takes to build a massively successful cash practice and start to build wealth as a PT. But before we go into breaking down this whole system and explaining what we're all looking at here, Ben, are we looking at my screen right now?
Yep.
Okay. So before I break down what this all is, I want to quickly explain and redefine what wealth actually means. You want to break it down for me, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, when I think about wealth, I think it's not just from a financial standpoint, but it's also from a time freedom standpoint. And most of you, maybe you're looking for the financial aspect, but I think probably most of you are actually looking for the time freedom aspect of what wealth can do. And what we found is, once you get the time freedom, that the financial aspect of things follows as well. So you usually get both. Because you can chase the financial aspect of things, but you might not be getting the time freedom with it. But if you can get the time freedom, usually the financial aspect of it follows. So that's kind of what we view as wealth and the wealthy way method. So
right, and because if we found, and we've seen this over and over again, if you just pursue the financial benefits of owning a practice, you tend to get stuck in the weeds because you're going after the wrong thing, you're asking the wrong questions and coming up with the wrong solutions. But if you approach your business with the goal of achieving time freedom, which is really what all Ben and I ever really wanted, financial freedom just came as a result of having that time, because opportunities tend to find you when you have the time to keep your eyes peeled for them, right? But if you focus on achieving time freedom, here's what happens. You end up focusing on optimizing how it is that you're marketing. You're optimizing how you are treating your patients. What is the overall experience that you are providing them? Because you want to retain them longer, because you know the more you have churn within your practice, the more time you have to spend marketing. So you're retaining patients longer, you're delivering a better experience, which is resulting in them staying with you longer, paying more, referring more often, and you create this really, really beautiful snowball effect. And so there's 3 things that you need to follow if you're trying to achieve time and financial freedom within your cash practice. It is a scalable way of acquiring patients, a premium practice model, meaning you're charging high, like 200, 225 for your rates, and you're selling packages, and you're selling a premium world-class patient experience, because it's not enough to just charge more. Okay, if you just charge more, but you don't have the premium experience, then you're going to have high attrition, and then you're going to find yourself spending a lot of time in marketing. But if you do have a experience that is so good that it is immediately apparent why you are worth paying more, and that the cost of working with you is only exceeded by the cost of not working with you, you'll find that it's actually really easy to sell as well. And when you start selling at that level, when you have the margin that a premium cash model can provide you with, suddenly, not only do you have cash flow coming into the business, not only are you able to reinvest into your growth and grow faster, but when it becomes time to bring on another therapist, because your schedule is full and you've been able to maintain that because of your acquisition system, you're able to offer the most competitive rates. You're able to offer the best work environment, the kind of work environment that you dreamt of when you were, getting, hung out to dry at one of your first jobs. Right. And so there's a tremendous number of benefits when you follow this framework. But I want to kind of, before we go into the details of it, Ben, you want to kind of break down how we even came into this and explain what we're all looking at on our screen here?
Yeah, so you guys will see, like, usually about the About the first year, it was all on the boots marketing, on the ground marketing,
Yep.
and where I was doing workshops, just getting out in the community and building relationships. And
Yep.
so that worked really well for the first year. Got to about $130,000 in my first year, which I was super happy about. But I really did not have any time freedom whatsoever, and I was working like 60 to 80 hours a week. And yeah, my schedule was full, but again, I was working 68 hours a week. And like, well, I've got my schedule full, and this is what it's going to take to be able to keep it full. Is just continue to grind. And like, this isn't sustainable, and also I don't have the time freedom that I wanted. Yeah, I have a full caseload, but I really just created a job for myself. And so you guys will see that right around that first dip is
Yeah.
when I was so full that I wasn't able to do a whole lot of marketing. And so because I wasn't doing marketing now, there wasn't patients coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I eventually hired. So we used after that dip, I brought on a physical therapist. And so I was still seeing patients, but he was able to start seeing patients as well. So now I was time leveraged in the sense that I was leveraging somebody else's time. So that's what allowed us to increase the revenue higher, because
Yep.
otherwise if I wouldn't have hired on, we would have been stagnated on have these ups and downs that you saw prior to that hiring. And then you'll see the next dip was I was still, again, like I said, I was still very in the weeds of doing the marketing and seeing patients. And this is the first time that I took a vacation. I went back home to Iowa. I was living in
Mm-hmm.
the Bay Area of California at that time. Went back home. I had to see family and friends, and it was gone for about a week. And you can see the revenue took a dip because of it. And that was still because I was doing a lot of the marketing, and I was still seeing quite a good amount of patients. I was still seeing about 20 patients a week at that point. So when when I removed myself, the business, you can see the business felt that. And so that's what that dip was. And then eventually, like, we got to figure out a different acquisition aspect of things. Like, we can't just keep relying on workshops and relationship building. That's got to be it's going to continue to be a good piece of our marketing, but we've got to expand outside of it. So this is where started working with Jordan and Max and started diving into the Facebook ads world of things.
Mm-hmm.
We started working on generating referrals from current patients, working on reactivation campaigns, leveraging CRM, uh, and just start leveraging technology a little bit to reactivate past patients, and just different marketing strategies to add to the pipeline that wasn't just based on time. So you guys can see that those things I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
very highly time leveraged. Facebook ads very highly time leveraged. Meaning I don't have to physically go out and do workshops. I don't have to physically go do these things to set up these ads, and it's much more passive. And then same thing with like referral generation. This was just simply figuring out how to have better conversations with patients throughout their patient journey to cultivate it. With regards to reactivation campaigns, this was simply leveraging technology as well, where it's sending out automated text, automated emails, checking in with people to reactivate them as well. So really started looking into other streams of lead generation. And the same thing with better ways of collecting Google reviews. So we got more website leads. We optimized our website, improved the conversions of it, got more traffic because we were able to ask for reviews in a better way to collect those. So that's when things really started skyrocketing, when we were able to start getting more time leveraged ways of patient acquisition.
That's right, because it's not all about Facebook ads. Facebook ads is the igniter that gets us to the point where our business has the opportunity to start to snowball. Because you had the volume coming in, you had the referrals coming in that gave the organic reach on Google and your business listings to hit that critical mass where you're now in that top 10% of what's available out there in the market. And then everything kind of takes care of itself. And then Facebook ads just becomes more of like cherry on the top at the end. So the level of importance of it, it's so important in the beginning to fill your schedule, to be able to build the team, to buy back your time freedom so that you can start to focus on the other parts of the business that allow it to thrive. In doing this, we're seeing our clients literally go from pretty much broke and stuck in a business that where they're underpaid and they're working 10 times harder than they did when they're at their previous job, to acquiring an extra 7, 14, even 30 high margin patients each and every month, where they're going from 15K to 35K in 90 days, zero to $30,000 in 90 days. And we're literally transforming people's lives, who had done the traditional workshop model and who were stuck, who weren't finding the success with workshops or the consistency that they needed, or they were working and they just couldn't do more if they could, if even if they wanted to, like Ben. And this is happening almost every single week inside of our programs using the method that we are about to break down for you. So before we actually break down this entire thing together, what I want to do is I want you to, one, if you're here live, comment live, or catching the replay, comment the replay. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure to like and subscribe for more content on how to create time and financial freedom as a cash physical therapist. So let's dive into this thing. Okay, so again, the 3 pillars of the Wealthy PT Fastlane method are a scalable acquisition strategy, a premium practice model, meaning you're charging $200-ish per visit, and you're selling packages, and a world-class patient experience. Ben, do you want to elaborate a little bit on what we mean by a world-class patient experience? Because it is not just getting great outcomes. Okay, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into the customer, the patient experience, and creating a world class aspect of things. But really, in my opinion, the thing that I place at the top for this is sales, and what is their experience with the communication throughout their entire journey, and how are we setting expectations? How are we mapping out what their journey is going to look like? Okay. So that's for me what I feel is what's allowed us to separate ourselves from a lot of other cash-based practices and scale to the level that we have is because of our sales system and process with patients. So before somebody schedules an appointment, we're hopping on a 15-minute phone call with them, at least a 15-minute phone call to learn a bit more about what's going on, treat them like a real human being. Versus I encourage you guys to call around to other clinics in your area that take insurance, and you'll find some interesting things that they won't even ask for your name. They just simply ask, what's your name? What's your date of birth and what's your insurance? Like, why does that even matter? Like, they're just treating like people like a number and not even whether or not they can actually help them. So we have some people that don't end up actually scheduling with us after this phone call for whatever reason, just wasn't the right fit. But most people thank us for taking the time because nobody's ever done that, right? Mm-hmm. So it's doing that on the front end, and then afterwards, we send them a text recap of our phone call. Like, hey, congrats on taking the first step to getting back to X, Y, and Z. We're looking forward to working with you, yada, yada. Just pretty much a recap, showing them how much we listened, and it makes people feel heard. All right. And then we also send them a welcome text from the treating PT the day before their appointment, showing them that, hey, we looked over their intake form, the evaluation accelerator form that we have them fill out, stating like, hey, Ms. Smith, thanks for taking time to fill out the evaluation accelerator form. Super excited working with you to help you get back to X, Y, and Z, relating it back to their goal. And because like what other clinic is one sending a text recap of the phone call that you just had with a prospective new patient or a patient that just scheduled, and what other clinic is sending a text from the doctor of physical therapy that's going to be treating them the day before their appointment, saying that they're super excited to work with them. They walk in, we've got a whiteboard at the front desk saying like, hey, Ms. Smith, welcome to ProConnect's Physical Therapy Performance. We're super excited working with you to get you back to X, Y, and Z, right? Mm-hmm. We're always relating it back to their goal, not to get them out of knee pain. Our goal is to get them back to be able to run that half marathon that they've always dreamed of doing, right? It's just changing their mindset around their goals, and that we're not just here to help them with getting out of knee pain. It's so much more than that. So those are just some things. Like, you can also have like their favorite kind of music that they have when they like when they walk in, right? On your intake form, ask what's your favorite type of music. Have that playing when they walk in, right? Stuff like just little things like that go a long way. So there's a lot more that goes into it, but if I had to pinpoint things, it'd be the sales experience that people have, and just feeling heard and listened to is the biggest thing that people value. But yeah, what are the things that you can see, Jordan, that our clients have been doing that you really like?
It's just not about the tangible things. Like, the tangible things when people hire a physical therapist are the expected things. We're now living in the experience economy where everything is more or less the same. It's all about how you make someone feel and how you connect with them, and taking the time to do the little things right. That's what creates a premium experience. It's not the big fancy things. It's not the fancy equipment even. You can have a world-class patient experience and have very minimal equipment, very cheap equipment. It's all about how you make people feel and getting the little things right. Okay. And when you can do that, not only is selling premium packages incredibly easy, we've had people do it, such as I think I actually have one right here. Claire and Phillip, they were in a tiny town in Wisconsin, 18,000 people. They didn't think for a chance that they'd be able to sell $200 visits, let alone packages, to their blue collar town. But they were in a position where it was either do or die. They've been at it for almost 2 years, and they never did more than $7,000 a month. And within 60 days, they're doing $30,000 a month, and they've never done less than that. Today, they have a team. They're doing $50,000 a month, and that was barely a year ago. And so this stuff works really, really well when you design the experience to justify those rates. And if you have premium rates and you're having a lot of pushback on conversions and you're not selling, it's because your patient experience is off. And so you got to fine tune all of this stuff. And so, as Ben kind of alluded to, before all of this, before the Wealthy PT Fastlane method, his business was complex. And I would wager if you're not where you want to be in your business, it's because it is complex. You need to simplify it. Once Ben simplified his business, everything exploded, and it now grows month over month with very minimal effort from him. Ben, when was the last time you actually had to be like day to day in the clinic?
I go to each location usually for about a few days out of the year, but I really don't spend more than 14, 15 days within a physical clinic throughout the entire year. So
Yeah.
I'm a treated patient over 3 years. I'm not saying like that's what you guys have to do. That's just what I actually find that now that it's scaled to where it has, and everybody's got their role. Like every team member's got their own role and does a great job of executing on it. I actually find that the more that I integrate myself, the more I actually just get in the way, and things don't run as smoothly.
Right.
So I actually, just kind of try and take a step back and remove myself as much as possible because it runs more smoothly with me out of it instead of trying to essentially get in the way. And really, what it comes down to just be micromanaging people that are already doing their job correctly. So
right. So what I just broke down in front of you is the Wealthy PT Fastlane method. Okay. I don't know where that text just got saved to, but anyway, so this is the entire patient acquisition system. Now, doing this and leaning on this initially, and pairing that with local workshops empowers you to do a couple things. One, you have a steady stream of clients contacting you on a regular basis. And so the way this works is we have very simple ads targeting very simple patient populations. We typically recommend starting out at $50 a day. Some people spend a little bit less than that, and that's okay. It just takes a little bit longer for you to hit your goals and to fill your schedule. But if you are looking to grow and you have the financial resources and you have more resources than time, this can get you to your first 20K, 30K, 50K months so much faster than you can imagine. Okay. And so right now, as it stands, and this is not just our data, but data from hundreds of practice owners that we've taught this to that have had massive success with this, from ads, about 50% of the leads generated convert into phone calls. Okay. And so we're having Facebook traffic go to an opt-in page. Our opt-in pages usually get an 8% conversion rate on average. From those who opt in, maybe 20% of those actually book a call right away from the thank you page. The rest we call using our lead follow-up frameworks. Okay, from there, we're able to get the other 30%. So about 50% of leads we get turned into booked calls. And then using our emotional communication and serve selling frameworks, we're able to get 80% of the people we get on the phone, complete strangers who didn't even know physical therapy was the option, people who have never paid cash for healthcare services in their lives. We're getting 80% of those individuals to convert into evaluations. And we're not hiding the fact that we charge cash. We're not even hiding the fact that we charge premium rates for our services. But the way we communicate is so different than what they've experienced anywhere else, where before we even recommend them schedule a call, they've already decided they want to work with us because of that emotional communications framework that we're using. And so 80% are coming in for their evaluations. And now 70% is the bare minimum goal. Right now, Ben, inside of his practice, he's closing at almost 90%. And I have a philosophy that I don't like to make claims unless I can actually show you. And so check out our IE convert or Ben's IE conversion rate across all of his staff. Okay. And so across all of these individuals, he's averaging an 85.9% conversion rate across all of his PTs using this framework. And so when I say we're converting at 90%, we've had people comment on our ads like, yeah, right, that's BS. The numbers don't lie. Okay. And so right now, even if 70% of these individuals convert and we're spending $1,500 a month on ads, driving about 700 clicks or so, what this ends up turning into is a very, very simple, scalable methodology to generate upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 in record time. And because you have this system, anytime you go out there and do networking, anytime you go and do a workshop, you walk in there exuding confidence because you do not need anyone to buy from you. You don't need any business owner to send you referrals. It is just a nice to have. And because you can go in there not stinking of desperation, that is what makes these potential referral sources that could honestly like make your business very successful if they decided to refer to you tomorrow. That's what makes them want to work with you because now you're operating on the same level. They're not looking down on you. You're an equal. And other entrepreneurs want to work with other entrepreneurs who are winning. And so the funny thing about this is because we have this framework in place, it actually makes our organic marketing so much more successful because we're able to have that energy going into all of this. And because we have our sales philosophy as well as the patient experience we're able to provide, not only are we converting people like crazy on this, but on average, our patients are sticking around for a really long time, which means they're referring more often and they're actually joining our additional programs that come after our packages. Ben, you want to talk to them a little bit about how you've designed your packages so that they tee up the medical fitness training on the back end of that?
Yeah.
Just a
So
brief overview. You don't got to go into the nitty gritty of it.
yeah. So essentially during our evaluation, we go through what we call Mount Do More. It just essentially walks them through what their patient experience is going to be like, right? Like our first phase is to get you out of pain. Second phase is really address the root issue. And then phase 3 is to improve your performance, get you operating at a higher level than you ever thought possible and become your best version of yourself, right? So we walk them through like, hey, this is what the physical therapy aspect of things will look like. And then what most people do once they're done with physical therapy, they move into our medical fitness coaching, where you work with our personal trainer that's in direct communication with your treating PT. And so there's quite a few patients now that we've started doing this, that their lifetime value, what I mean by lifetime value is how much they're spending with us, is doubling because, and actually coming more from the medical fitness coaching side of things, because we have a 20 pack on the back end, 130 per session for medical fitness coaching, 20 sessions, you're looking at $2,600. That's more than the 10 pack that they paid at that 215 rate, right? They're spending about 2150 for PT. They're spending 2,600 on the back end for medical fitness coaching. So it really comes down to teeing it up on the evaluation. Again, goes back to exactly what I said earlier, is mapping out their journey, setting expectations early so they know what their journey is going to look like. So when you bring up medical fitness coaching again, they've already heard it multiple times. And so that's what we have on the back end of our physical therapy to increase their lifetime value with that program as well.
Right. Facebook ads are insanely simple, but most people fail miserably on them because they don't understand that Facebook ads' only job is to acquire the lead. But it is all up to the experience that you provide and the way that you communicate that is going to determine how many of those people actually convert into clients and how long they end up sticking with you. Because the only numbers that truly matter at the end of the day to determine the health of your business is, of course, profit, but also patient lifetime value. How long are they sticking around within the business? Because that determines how much you can spend to acquire a client. And for those businesses that have high patient lifetime value, they can afford to spend 2, 3, 4 times more than you to acquire a patient at profit and still be more profitable than most of you because of how you've designed your businesses and the level of experience that you're able to provide people. And whoever can spend the most to profitably acquire a client is always going to win. And so all of this to say that if you are stuck within your practice, if you're not growing at the rate that you want to grow at, it doesn't matter if you're being very successful with workshops. It doesn't matter if you've tried workshops and just can't seem to get them to work. This strategy can unhinge that success that you've been trying to get very, very quickly. As I said, back over here, okay, we've had hundreds of clients implement this system and add minimum of $10,000 per month to their practice. We had over 200 practice owners do this. And so people are going from zero, practically a brand new clinic, to having massive success. Lacey, she was stuck practically at zero in pelvic health, added $30,000 in 90 days. Chris, he was doing workshops his entire career and they were successful, but he was capped out at 15K. Within 90 days, he was doing almost $40,000. Spencer, he was about to give up on physical therapy altogether, get an entirely different career because he was doing workshops, he was beating the pavement, and he could not gain any level of consistency because all the places in his area were already working with other PTs. And so he was lost. We took him to $30,000 in 90 days. Today, over a year later, he's doing around $50,000, $60,000 a month. He's got a whole team. Now he has all the time that he to coach high school athletes and to teach. And that's where his real passion is. And there are dozens of these stories. And so it's not just about Facebook ads. Facebook ads is actually a very tiny piece to this entire thing because at the end of the day, Facebook ads are very simple. It is what comes after the ads that truly matters, that tells the world what kind of entrepreneur, what kind of business owner you truly are. And that energy that you give off, that experience that you put people through is going to determine their loyalty to you. And if you can turn strangers into loyal customers, you can grow very, very quickly. The kind of growth that you see on Ben's chart here, because he knows that it all is all about how you make people feel and getting systems in place that give you leverage over your time. Because when you have more time, making money is very, very simple because you have a lot of time to think about it. So if you're watching this and you are curious if this system could work within your practice and what working directly with Ben and myself would look like and custom fit this entire Wealthy PT Fast Lane framework to your unique situation, what I want you to do is to go and book a call at join.clinicalmarketer.com/call. Okay. On this page, it's going to ask you to complete a brief assessment. That's just going to give us an idea of where you are in your business, where you're trying to go, what you've already tried, so that when you jump on a call with our team, this again, just going to be 15 minutes of open, honest conversation. We can determine whether it makes more sense for us to give you some of our free resources. We have a lot of really amazing free resources, things like our pricing and practice economics calculator, our $1 Million Practice Guide, our sales training curriculum. All of this stuff is free and available. And once you book a call with us, if we determine that it makes more sense to just give you some of those materials and wish you luck, great. If it makes sense and we determine that that our framework is going to work very, very well for you, then we'll book another call where you get to talk directly with Ben or myself to determine if this is a good fit, to give you more details on how the whole system works. So if you're interested in this, go book a call on this page. Just click this big blue button beneath this intro video. And that's it, everybody. If you have questions on this system, we'd be more than happy to break them down. So drop them in the chat so that we can get them out to you. We're using a new tool. I wonder if this is going to post it across all the channels. That'll be interesting to see how that works. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this was eye-opening for you. Ben, you got anything to add on this, man?
No, I mean, it's a proven system. Like we've had 200 plus clinic owners go through this and have success. So really the only thing that you need is a work ethic. If you're going to put the work in, it's going to work for you, right? So if you got the work ethic, encourage you guys to book a call. And as always, like I said this a million times on trainings, on our Facebook group, you're really just 1 or 2 decisions away from having a completely different life. And this just fits the bill as well. So you guys also saw the testimonials from other people on how quickly their lives changed in 90 days and how just completely different it looked from personal standpoint, professional standpoint, financial standpoint. So if you got the work ethic, it'll work for you. That's what it comes down to. You just got to put the work in, follow this proven framework, and you're good to go. So I encourage you guys to book a call. And but yeah, on that, I think we're all set.
That's right. And so if you want to book a call, you can use that link that's in the comments, or you can scan the QR code that is up on this screen. Those of you who do book, Our guarantee is that if you are a good fit, we'll generate $30,000 together by working together over the next 90 days, or we'll continue to work for free for as long as it takes to get you there. As long as you are doing your part, you're showing up, you're asking questions, and you're actually putting in the work. So if that's you, if you're ambitious, you want to make an impact that's far greater than you could ever do alone, and you're looking to grow fast and have time and financial freedom in 2024, scan that QR code, book a call with us, and Ben and I look forward to chatting with you. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.